Hi, I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
And thank you for joining Miss Cleo's Storytelling Corner this morning. Well, this morning a few things happened, and well, we were to have a guest this morning, Michael Bland, and unfortunately, he was in a little car accident on his way to the studio, and we wish him well and hope everything is all right with him this morning. And hope that he gets through that well. So here we are. You are again with Miss Cleo by herself. And so we're going to still talk about some of the same things that I was going to talk about with Michael. I wanted him to come on to the show because I wanted to find out why he came to Hartford and about his career. He is the campaign manager of our Mayor Segarra, and I just wanted to hear some of the things that he had to say. He's from New Jersey, I think, from New Jersey or from New York, and he came to Hartford, I guess, to be the manager of the mayor. I don't really know why he came to Hartford, so don't quote me on anything. I know he's here, and I know he's helping the mayor. So I wanted to talk to him a little bit about that. There is, and some of the stories that I wanted to tell. And this is one story for you. It is a story. It's a story about the United States. You know, whenever there is a disaster in the United States, like New Jersey, remember the president came and gave assistance, or there was the San Francisco earthquake. Remember well, of course you don't remember. You weren't living, neither was I, neither were my parents. But San Francisco crumbled, and the country came together. And San Francisco built up San Francisco. I remember watching that movie. I thought it was a fantastic movie. It was Clark Gable. I forgot the woman in it. I just remember Clark Gable, and how they were down at the Bowery, and all of a sudden it shook and people. It was a fantastic movie, and I watched that, and I always admired how people came together to rebuild. And there was, in United States is going all over the world rebuilding in Louisiana, getting together to rebuild. I mean, we don't think, maybe they didn't do the greatest job in the world, I don't know. And things maybe aren't the way they should be even today, but the effort to come in there and to rebuild was there, to rebuild that city. But I remember reading, there was one city that was not rebuilt. And that's what I kind of want to talk about. And I wanted to talk about that with Michael too, that you can't always come back. You can't always bring it back. You know, you may leave it for a little while, but you can't always bring it back. So, um, and can you guess what city I'm talking about? They didn't come back. That we didn't come together and rebuild that city. Because when it was gone, it was gone. Sometimes I kind of feel like that in Hartford sometimes. But let me just tell you a little bit about this city that I know about. And that is Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921. A very prosperous black town. They had their own banks, their own businesses. I think they even might have had a small airport. They called it Black Wall Street. And people were doing well there. Well, one day, a woman was getting on an elevator, and a man came by and stepped on her foot. And she started to scream and scream and scream, and thought the man was trying to assault her. Well, that town was burnt to the ground. People were beaten and killed for no reason at all. It was the end of Greenwood in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now, I tell you this story for a very good reason. Nobody came together to rebuild that city. Not ever. The neighbors didn't come, and I'm sure there was plenty of good people on all sides. But they didn't come together to help Greenwood rebuild their city. Because when it was gone, it was gone. So I'm wondering, how come? Of course, I know you're not wondering, but they burnt down that city full of black people. About 1,000 people survived that. They lived the winter in tents. They had little or no food. They didn't come back because there was no one to help them to come back. They couldn't come back by themselves. And I tell you this because when you lose something, you may not get it back. Because there may be plans to never get it back. So we need to keep what we have and improve it. We can improve it. We're smart enough to improve what we have. We're smart enough to see that there's good things and bad things that happen. Everything doesn't work out quite right for us all of the time. We know that. We sit back and think about it. We know that. Most of us go to work, come home. We're not interested in most other things because it's hard enough just keeping ourselves together. Getting our kids to school, getting the food on the table, paying these tremendous bills, getting these taxes together. So most of us are just living day to day. But sometimes we better pay attention to what's happening around us. Pay attention to what's happening around us. And that's all I have to say. Not too much more about that. When we come back from commercial, I'm gonna think up another story because today I didn't even bring a book. I didn't bring a book, but I got some stories in my head. I always had a story in my head somewhere. And I think that sometimes we don't think we're smart enough or good enough to keep things going. But we are. We can do whatever we want to do. Remember, I always tell you that? I know there's all these things around you that you don't know about. A whole lot of people you think are smarter than you. But if you have heart and you want to do it, we can make the changes that we need to make. And getting together to make those changes. You know what I'm talking about. So right now, we're going to have a commercial. We're going to go to commercial because you know I can talk. We're going to go to commercial. And as soon as we get back, I'm going to have a story in my head to tell you. We'll be right back.
I know what it's like to lose a father to gun violence and to be raised by a single mother. I know what it's like to be homeless or to go to bed hungry. I know this because this is what happened to me. I'm Hartford Mayor Pedro Segarra. Education is what lifted me out of poverty. It's why as mayor, I've made education one of my top priorities, invested hundreds of millions of dollars renovating and rebuilding schools. We're also creating more early education programs, summer youth programs, and allocating funding for mentoring programs like My Brother's Keeper. I'm Pedro Segarra. I'm asking for your vote on September the 16th to continue moving Hartford forward. I'm Pedro Segarra, and I approve this message.
It's a meet and greet book signing, Tuesday, September the 1st. Come and meet Tina Williams, author of Finding Peace After a Life of Sexual, Mental, and Physical Abuse. Get your own signed copy of her touching book that explores her life's challenges and experiences. It all happens at 50 Elm Street in Hartford, Connecticut, starting at 5 until 7 o'clock. For more information, call Dwayne White at 860-983-9192.
When I grow up, I'll be your doctor.
I will be a firefighter, or maybe the fire chief.
I'll be a Supreme Court justice.
I'm attorney Jeffrey Dressler. I advocate education. It lasts a lifetime.
And I'm Mayor Pedro Segarra. Be a part of your children's education. Together, we can help our children fulfill their dreams.
Welcome back to Miss Cleo's Storytelling Corner. I was trying to think of a story and I just couldn't quite get it. But I'm going to just come right down to it and tell you what this program was about today and why I invited Michael Bland to this show. And that is because I really love Hartford, and I'm for Hartford, and I want Hartford to survive. And I know the people of Hartford. I've been here all of my life. And I know if we come together, we can do the right things in education and any other thing that we need in Hartford. Now, I say that, I was trying to say, give a little story here and there to get the point out. But maybe I just need to say it the way I need to say it. And so here it is. I think we need to get together, get crime under control. We understand our own people, and we do not need a knight in shining armor to come in and save the day, because he doesn't or she does not know us. We know us. And the reason I told the story of Greenwood is because once you lose something, you may never get it back. So why not come together as a community and solve our problems and work with our mayor? Yeah, he made some mistakes. Hey, he made mistakes, of course. We all make mistakes. But we're strong enough and smart enough to make sure that his next go round, he'll make fewer mistakes. And I know people have told me over and over again, Cleo, you don't know anything about politics. You don't know what you're doing. I don't know anything about politics. You're right. I'm a storyteller. I'm a bookseller. But I know the people of Hartford. I know the people I grew up with. I know their parents, their grandparents. I worked in social services for 17 years straight. I'm still working in social services. I know who the people of Hartford are. So you can't tell me I don't know. And then I grew up in it. Oh yes, I know. And I'm going to tell you how this citizen thinks. And that is, there is no one who could come in without having any of your experiences in this city and clean it up. Because you know, if you stop and think about it, we wanted so many things. You know, I read about how we were after slavery and how we wanted this and we wanted that and we were going to get it, but we didn't know what it took to get it. We didn't know what that man went through to do what he did and to keep us under and oppressed. We didn't know that. We thought we could go out there and have a job and bam, bam, thank you, ma'am, it's going to happen. Greenwood thought it would happen too, bam, bam, and they did it. They got the American dream. Didn't last. We got a lot of work to do between us. We got a lot of work to do. And unfortunately, I really wish that we could get a knight in shining armor to come in and clean up the mess. I really wish that. But that is not so. You know it's not so, and I know it's not so. We have to clean up our own messes. We have to clean up and get and work for what we want. And we have to show our children that we could do that. And I know other people outside of us think they could do a better job than we can. They can't. We have to do it. Hartford is a beautiful place and I love it. And I've lived here all my life. And so many of us love it. So, come on. Let's get together. Let's work with the mayor to make it a better place. And let's work together to make him a better mayor. Because he does need some help to improve himself. And we're the only ones that can do that. And we can do it. And he will listen. And we will have a better Hartford. So that's what I wanted to say. And I tried to do it through story, but maybe you can't do everything through stories. I stayed up half the night, looking up stories. I said, what is the right story? What is the right story? I got to tell the right story. Then this morning, the Greenwood story came to me, and I said, how can I make that speak for today? I don't know if I did. I don't know if I get out of here and I go to have my coffee at my favorite place and they will sit there and laugh at me. Cleo, you did it again. You never know what you're talking about. I may not know what I'm talking about, but I know what I love. And I know what I've seen in Hartford for all of my life. And I know that when we give up something, I have never seen us get it back. And that's for truth. So we either work hard, press on, push the mayor to do the right things, and keep on stepping, or we give it up. And what will we have? I don't know. I don't know what we'll have. And neither do you. Well, that's all I have to say today. I hope you enjoyed Miss Cleo's Storytelling Corner, her ramblings. And I hope some other time that we can get Michael Blaine. Oh, I'm saying his last name right. I know it's for Michael Blaine back on the show if he can on another week before the election. So I have nothing more to say except please read with your child, introduce them to books, open up their world. I love books. I love holding a book in my hand and reading it. But if you need a electronic thing, then get it. Get electronic thing. Get whatever you have to get to put their minds on reading. There are so many programs out here just to try to help our children to read. I think it's maybe how we introduce it to them. I don't know. I know when I sit down with a bunch of children and I start reading, they love it. And there's no computers, or they're not texting. They listen to Miss Cleo's stories. And I love that. And they always want to come back. So remember, parents, work with your children. Let's work to make a better Hartford. Read a little, write a little. Come on. Let's dream big. I'll see you next week. Have a good day.